All of Ryzen has been announced and it's being brought to us very soon, so should you buy? Oh, and I've got some updates for you today, so stay tuned. Welcome back to GamerMeld. Ryzen 5 has fully been revealed and it's launching April 11th. We've discussed quite a bit of SKUs before and it seems most of those are right, but there were a few slight differences. So let's go over all of them again. There are 4 chips in the lineup and 2 are hexa-cores with 12 threads, while the other 2 are quad-cores with 8 threads. The 1600X comes in as the leader of the pack with 6 cores, 12 threads, and runs with a 3.6 GHz base and 4 GHz boost. The price comes in at $249. The 1600 is another 6-core 12-thread, but is clocked at 3.2 GHz base with a 3.6 GHz boost, and saves you $30 at $219. First up in Ryzen's 4-core arsenal is the 1500X, clocked at 3.5 GHz base with a 3.7 GHz boost, and is just $189. Lastly is the 1400, which is also a 4-core 8-thread processor and has a clock speed of 3.2 GHz base with a boost of 3.4 GHz. The 1400 is a mere $169. The TDP on all the chips with the 1600X are a nice 65 watts, leaving the 1600X at 95 watts. One thing to note is the AMD is including the new Wraith coolers with all the Ryzen 5 processors but the 1600X. That sucks for the highest 6-core, but I guess they're assuming people will use aftermarket coolers on the higher end Ryzen 5 anyway. The Ryzen 1400 will come with the Wraith Stealth, but the 1500X and 1600 will come with the Wraith Spire. Unlike the Ryzen 7 Wraith fans, Ryzen 5 won't feature Rgb lighting, though I do have to admit, they do look pretty nice, even without RGB, but that's of course for you to decide. One cool thing I want to talk about that PC World noticed is that the Ryzen 5 1400X has an extended frequency range which goes up to 200 MHz, instead of the typical 100 of the Ryzen 7 series. That's telling if you ask me, as it shows these lower core models should really overclock better than their more core counterparts. Of course, this was more or less expected, but we'll have to see how much they can manually overclock. If it's anything like the 1700, I'll be happy. And now keep in mind that I believe it's only the 1400X that goes up to 200 MHz, but I have a feeling that the others will overclock better as well. Next up is Ddr4 support. It looks like the same support Ryzen 7 has is making its way over to Ryzen 5. I'm actually going to have a video up on buying memory for your Ryzen chip very soon. Possibly tomorrow, though I'm not sure yet. Definitely subscribe to stay updated on that. So what about performance? Well, it appears we're going to have to wait. AMD isn't revealing much of anything until later. This of course brings me to whether you should make Ryzen 5 part of your component arsenal. To that, my answer is, it depends. If you mostly do things like video encoding and don't want to spend the money for Ryzen 7, you can't beat it. But if you're mostly a gamer, my honest suggestion is to wait for the benchmarks. I know it's not what many of you want to hear, but it's my honest opinion. It's easy to just say, buy, look, I've got an affiliate link. But integrity is far more important than affiliate sales to me, and I just can't wholeheartedly recommend them without more information. The main reason really goes to the dual CCX configuration of the Zen architecture. For those who haven't seen the video I posted yesterday and you want to get an idea of why it's important as to whether Ryzen has 1 or 2 CCX modules and all that, check it out. So this brings me to the second portion of the video. I'm actually eating crow a bit today, and I really wanted to address it because the last thing I want is for people to make purchases based on what I said. Basically, before I removed that portion from the video, I went into how Ryzen 5 may not suffer from the gaming issues of the Ryzen 7 processors because it is, quote, supposed to not have the CCX divided up. Well, I was wrong, and I'm honestly sorry as I shouldn't have worded it that way to begin with. And really, I'm not really sure why I did. I mostly based that off of comments and articles of people more speculating and maybe saying it would be a single one. Plus, I just figured AMD would do a 4-0 pair instead of the 2-2. So yeah, no clue why I used the phrase supposed to, though I certainly didn't mean it was definitive. I can just see why some people took it as more of a definitive thing. But I don't know, I definitely seem to not make some people happy when I don't say the best things about AMD, and I personally didn't want Ryzen 5 to do it that way. And I really want them to succeed, but I would never intentionally deceive any of you. I'll also do everything in my ability to ensure I not word something improperly again. And this brings me to some more crow. In case you're wondering, dinner isn't good for me tonight. I kid, but I do really want to keep everyone updated and be as 100% transparent as I possibly can. I basically mentioned that the scheduler could help things when it comes to not moving across the CCX. But it seems PCPer did a great article somewhat debunking the Windows scheduler part of that. I actually kind of discussed this article before, but I never fully went through it as I was mostly talking about AMD's statement on it. But I had assumed AMD's statement was just on the scheduler not seeing all the threads, not the CCX issue we discussed there. But it appears as though that statement actually extends to this discussion as well. From what I can tell, it is also able to see the CCX boundaries and dish out instructions accordingly. Strangely enough, the French article seemed to state otherwise, so really I'm not 100% sure, and I don't think anyone is at this moment, but I'll definitely watch over this and keep all of you updated. Also, please let me know if you found something new that I don't see. So with that said, it does seem there's a chance this is the most we can get from Ryzen unless game developers are willing to work harder to implement more optimized code. So yeah, it's been a crazy ride so far, and I am still in shock at how quickly this channel is growing, and I really can't thank everyone enough. Seriously, the support and even criticism has been great. I definitely don't know everything about hardware, but I'm always expanding my knowledge and do everything in my power to ensure the information I'm giving is accurate. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please subscribe, and I want to know, what kind of other things do you want to see me do? I'm going to actually have a Twitter poll up, so come find me on Twitter. I'm at GamerMeld, and let me know what you think. And as always, have a great day.